Hello everyone and welcome to the third episode of my Veronaville tour 10 rotations later, which means 5 sim weeks have passed. Hopefully you have seen the previous 2 episodes, so if you haven't, make sure you check them out. This episode we're going to be going through the sim bin families, which means that the families that start in the sim bin without a home, so the idea is to move them in to wherever you see fit. So the sim bin families are Goneril, who is a daughter of Consort and her husband and children. There is another household with Regan and Ken, which are 2 of Consort's children and Regan's husband Cornwall. And then on the other side there is Isabella and Patrizio's son Antonio and his 2 children, and then a singleton household with Bianca, which is Patrizio and Isabella's daughter. Just before we jump in, I do want to apologise for how long it's been since the last video, and also just how long it's taken to get through this series. I am recording this intro shortly before upload, but the rest of this video was recorded all the way back in March, so yeah, it has taken a really long time. It's taken a really long time to edit. I've struggled to find the time and sometimes motivation, sometimes, to be honest with you. I am a slower editor as well, but obviously I do acknowledge that these videos have been very lengthy and very thorough. I'm sure some of my viewers like me will appreciate that and like that, but I'm sure for a lot of you you'd happily have it condensed down and be shorter. So I think next time we do a catch up, the style will change up a bit. I'll chat to you a little bit more about the plans for the channel at the end of the video, so please stick around for that if you're interested. Don't want to keep rambling too much in the intro, but as well, just to let you know, more recently another thing that's taken me away from editing is because I've been working on a mod, and actually I'm sat on quite a few mods that I'm yet to upload, so make sure you follow me on Tumblr if you've not already, to make sure you catch those mods when they're released. Hopefully I will start releasing some mods again really soon. But anyway, that's all for now. Let's jump into our first family. So here is Goneril and Albany's house. All of their children have flown the nest and they are now in this really large house by themselves. They started with very little money and very little space, so had like 5 children in a tiny cottage and made that work, so they upsized, and then they eventually all just left. You know, Albany always wanted a second child, so they wanted to have another child, so they left room for that. But yeah, it's ended up with them being alone in this house, pretty empty. However, I do have plans for Hal to move in with them after he graduates, but I'll go into that more when we look at him. So as you can see, they need some gardening work done. I wonder if they have a gardener or not. They need to get on with hiring one if they don't. Goneril has a cute little car here, and yeah, I'm really pleased with this house. We've got a nice little back garden area here, and Albany likes to play his golf. So here we have now the oldest cap, Goneril. She is still a fortune sim and has a secondary aspiration of family. Her lifetime wish is to become a business tycoon. She's well on her way with doing that. She's CEO level 9, but she just needs to get some more friends and a logic skill point. But she's still very much focused on that in her old age, and isn't wanting to retire just yet. She's neat and lazy. She is nurturing, a workaholic, a born salesperson, a natural cook, and neat. Her hobby is cooking and baking, so she likes to cook for the family and enter cooking contests when she gets time, but she just doesn't really get time. She's a very busy lady, so she tends to just keep it to her free time and to provide for her family. She likes food, money, environment, school and weather, and travel, and hates sports, health, paranormal, toys, fashion, and sci-fi. She has a very good relationship with her husband, Albany, and it's just the 2 of them now. This is their little dog, but she never really bonded actually that closely with him. It was always more Albany's dog. Her son Thomas, all of her children actually, she's close with all of her children, Thomas, Ariel, Desmona, Hal, and more recently she's warming up to Miranda. now that she's grown up a little bit and has stopped rebelling so much and can become her own person. Close with her sister Reagan and her husband Cornwall, but the relationship with him has decreased slightly more recently, and she is actually been looking to pursue a little bit of a friendship with Romeo Monte, which is super interesting. This carries a lot of power from like the head cap at the moment, the oldest cap, the one with all the say. Of course, they do respect Tybalt kind of taking Consort's place, but Goneril is still very much kind of top dog at the moment. Her original bio said that while Goneril wanted children, it certainly wasn't her idea to have this many kids, and why does she feel like Albany perhaps married him more for her money than for her love? Her new bio reads that Goneril ended up balancing a large family and successful career extremely well. She has a wonderful relationship with all her children apart from rebellious Miranda. However, they have recently grown much closer. Can their bond eventually become as strong as the one she shares with her other children? She is still an ambitious boss woman and shows no signs of slowing down. But she is finally enjoying a quieter life with her husband Albany, who has proven that he loves her very much. She is now the oldest living member of the Cat family line and is seen as quite the leader. She hasn't shown much interest in the feud, but was never able to let go of her enemy status with Bianca Monte, perhaps because she disapproved of her relationship with Ken, angering her father Consort when he was alive. Surprisingly though, she has recently made a connection with the Monte golden child Romeo, and is in fact closer to him than her niece Juliet. What are her intentions here? So yes, as you can see, she does have an enemy status with Bianca Monte. They have fizzled out to like a neutral relationship, but I think it's a mod that makes that not make the enemy status go away. They actually do have to make some positive interactions, not just ignore each other for that to actually go away. They probably will be running into each other at some parties, so maybe that will happen if they get talking. So moving on to Albany, I get the impression that a lot of people don't like him, think he has bad intentions, but I actually think he's a proper sweetheart. I really quite like him actually. I see him as quite a nice guy. He is still a family sim and his secondary is Fortune, but interestingly, when I recalculated his aspiration, like see if I want to change it now he's an elder, the scores I got were Fortune at 20, popularity at 7, and family was -11. But I just don't think I can bring myself to make that change. That like completely changes everything about Albany and the person he's been and the person I've seen him continuing to be, with the interest in his grandchildren and such. So I think I'll just be leaving that one. He has the Fortune as his secondary, and I think that's enough. I don't think I can take family away from him. His lifetime one is to marry off 6 children, and unfortunately he only had 5, so unfortunately that's not going to happen. The biological clock is very much run out unless he desperately maybe tries to impregnate a young lady, but he wouldn't be alive to see the wedding anyway. He is actually in the business career currently. He was a stay-at-home dad for quite a long time, but eventually rolled the want to join the business career. I guess he is a fortune sim at the end of the day. He wants to maximize their earnings and felt the pressure from the Cat family, I think. He is neat, outgoing, serious, and grouchy. And his traits are family-oriented, charismatic, proper, grumpy, never nude, and athletic. He's interested in politics, crime, money, health, sports, and school, but hates food, work, paranormal, toys, environment, fashion, travel, and animals, which is really surprising since he's really close to their little doggy, and I'm pretty sure it was him that wanted him. His hobby is sports, particularly golf, and that's why that little golf item is in the backyard here, and he was actually able to get that before reaching whatever level it is in the business career, because I have a mod that puts the career rewards into aspiration rewards, so there's more things to actually spend those aspiration points on. I'm going to ignore memories because I don't think we're really getting anywhere with them. So as for relationships, great with Goneril and their little doggy and all of his children. He has been an excellent father and loves all of his children dearly and pretty much equally. He really has been an excellent dad, and he's close with his brother-in-law Cornwall and his other brother-in-law Kent, and is friends with Oberon. He doesn't get on with Bianca Monte. They're not enemies, but that relationship certainly hasn't fizzled into neutral. They are very much on bad terms still. So he's definitely more into this feuding than Goneril is. His original bio was that Albany loves his children, too bad they don't love each other. Can Albany convince them family is important, and can he convince Goneril as well? His new bio says, Albany loves his children, and now, with the loving and supportive environment he provided them, the relationships between them grew much stronger. He certainly is a very proud father. Unfortunately, he only managed to have 5 children with Goneril, so unless they choose to adopt or he looks elsewhere, he will not realise his dream of marrying off 6 children. Nevertheless, Albany is happy and proved himself to be a loving husband too. Whilst he was a stay-at-home dad for quite some time to be around for his young children at the time, he eventually felt the pressure from the ambition of the Capps and decided to join the business career. He's actually taken quite a liking to his work and hasn't shown any interest in retiring just yet. So there we have Goneril and Albany. So I'll just show you around their house. This was just one of the ones in Veronaville that I renovated. So they have a nice entrance way here. They both quite like red, so there's a lot of red in this house. I like red too, so good on them. A nice living room here. This was a nursery for the child that Albany wanted and never got. Quite sad and depressing, to be honest. I think we might make that a nice large bedroom for Hal when he finishes university. They have a laundry nook here and a downstairs bathroom. They have a kitchen where Goneril can do her cooking and her baking, and a nice modern dining room in here. Upstairs, there's a nice balcony. Here was Thomas's room. He took all of the decorations with him to university, but left all the furniture. But he was very into space, so he had a very cool space-themed room. This was Desdemona and Ariel's room, and then when they left for university, they just decided to take the bed out and make a bit more room, so it could be a spare room for Alex's girlfriend to stay, and they weren't comfortable with her sharing a bed, but she was more than welcome to stay in this room. And here is their office. Pretty standard stuff. A large family bathroom. And this is their master bedroom, very to Goneril's taste, and a ensuite here. And this is the little dog, Arnie, who is getting old, bless him. So there we have it for the second Capp family. And now we move on to the relatively new residence of Antonio Monte, the oldest living child of Patrizio and Isabella. So he has recently come into some money and been able to afford quite the upgrade. He was, like I said, in a house very similar to the one Mercutio is in, but now he has been able to afford quite the mansion. I don't remember if this was a Veronaville lot or a bin lot that I renovated. But either way, I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. So here we have Antonio. He has very recently become an elder just yesterday, I believe. Yeah, so a very, very new elder, but he's still pretty dapper, and I actually came up with my aspiration calculator after this happened, so I have not yet changed his aspiration from his age up, but I have calculated it. So even though he is still a knowledge sim at the moment, he will be being changed to a fortune sim. And honestly, I think that makes the most sense for him. Or actually, equally, he could be a family sim. They did come out with the same scores, but he does currently have a secondary aspiration of family. So I just thought about leaving family as a secondary. But either way, they're pretty. They were exactly equal to both scoring 9, and knowledge was in fact -1. So definitely will be changing his primary. Just not too sure what order it will be in. His lifetime one is to graduate 3 children from college. Wow, kind of boring, huh? Every knowledge and family sim in the neighborhood with that one. But that might change. Although I do think it suits him, and it is perhaps just about doable for him too. He is currently in the culinary career at level 9, so he's doing really well, and if he gets some more friends, he should be able to reach the top. He hasn't rolled the one to retire just yet. He does keep rolling ones for friends to make friends. He doesn't have any at the moment, but I do think that is something he will pursue and get there. He has all the skills he needs. He is active and serious, and his traits are a natural cook, brooding, workaholic, hopeless romantic, and family oriented. His hobby is, of course, cuisine. He absolutely loves to cook. He's very good at it, and that's why the culinary career does suit him. And I think he just felt like it was a bit too much of a risk, especially since he was still quite depressed from losing his wife at the time. He wasn't interested in taking over the family restaurant. He likes crime, food, culture, work, school, paranormal, and hates entertainment, health, weather, travel, and sci-fi. What? Apparently, Antonio has realised his lifetime one of graduating 3 children. I am so confused. Do not tell me that his nephews have contributed to that. Only one of his children have graduated so far, and apparently he's graduated 3 children from college. So, I think his nephews, Romeo and Mercutio, have contributed to that, and in which case that's a horrible problem, and I need to take that lifetime one off people, because I don't want that. I have recently installed a mod that makes it so that this will make it so that they get perma gold instead of perma flat, so there is that incentive there to keep fulfilling wants. But I think I installed it after this will have happened, so I don't know if it will affect him. So if he's stuck in permanent platinum for the rest of his life, that will bore me so much. That's so annoying. What the hell? Children, not nieces and nephews, come on. Anywho, as you can see, he's earned a lot of money, and in fact, if he had the lifetime wish of earning 100,000, he would have got that. He got a big bonus at work, and that's what helped him afford this new house. He did have to take out an additional loan to pay for it. Let's see how in debt he is. Right, he is 50,000 in debt, but he's a really hard worker, so I think he'll pay it back. Hopefully. He might have been a little bit ambitious, but hey, he also has a holiday home, and he found a magical lamp, and I believe he also wished for money at that point, which I think led to him being able to afford the vacation home, and then he got more money that he then used on the move, and has a very grand abode at the moment. So Antonio did eventually move on from losing his wife, which hit him very hard. At the start of the game, his wife is dead, and it's all very mysterious. I haven't really come up with a plot about that, to be honest. But he did meet someone new, a townie called Carol Zarubin, which interestingly, because they shared a last name, I made the daughter of Tiffany Zarubin the woman that Consort went on to marry, so that was a really cool little family tie there. Unfortunately, Tiffany didn't live very long for much to happen with it, but still, it's pretty cool. So yeah, he really found happiness with her, and has even gone on to have another marriage and more children. So he is very happily in love with his wife Carol, who took his name, of course, and his new daughters are here, Viola and Amelia. He has some bonding to do with Amelia, yeah, but she's still very young. And of course, Nala, which was originally Beatrice's cat, but I think she'll be staying here. Very close with his son Benedict, nephew Mercutio, sister Bianca, daughter Beatrice, and nephew Romeo. And he's friends with this random Academy Latour townie that I decided to age up with him. He is still enemies with Cornwall, but again, they're not on bad terms or anything. They've just stayed away from each other, and that status hasn't gone away. And I believe that's it. So that also seems like a personal thing rather than a well, that's another person that hates this common patch. I wonder what she did. So yeah, not much of a feuder. His original bio said, committed to his children, Antonio is determined to get to the bottom of his wife Hero's death, and what will be his role in the family feud that may have cost him his one true love. So I guess that's hinting at something happened that caused him to lose his wife. Now, it could be implying that there was foul play involved. It could just be that he was so distracted, caught up with it, that he, neglected her and she died in a fire or starvation or whatever it was. I'm not sure. But I'm not really gone on to that too much. I've just kind of let him healed, and he decided to pursue his work and then fell for Carol very organically. I never forced a new relationship on him at all. This was all him. So his new bio reads that it took some time, but Antonio was finally able to move on from his wife's death. His priorities shifted and he focused on his living family and his career. He let go of the feud. He just doesn't like that Cornwall. He's convinced he's evil. He's working hard to reach the top of the culinary career and has always had a passion for food and cooking. He is proud of the adults that Beatrice and Benedict have become and has started a new family with his wife Carol. Will he cope with being an elderly parent to 2 young children as well as such a hard worker? So this is his wife, Carol. She has a very beautiful face. She has put on a lot of weight from being with the foodie that Antonio is. He's definitely a feeder. She is a family sim with a secondary of fortune. Her current lifetime wish is to reach golden anniversary. So she's very into her relationship with Antonio. She's currently working at level 4 in the music career, but this really doesn't suit her very much at all. She probably will be taking retirement immediately. I just never really changed her career because I didn't know what else would suit her, to be honest, but she's definitely not into this. But hey, it's an extra source of cash and makes her feel more useful, I suppose. So Carol is playful. Her traits are hopeless romantic, family oriented, good sense of humour, loves the heat, and childish. Her hobby is arts and crafts, and more specifically sewing, like Titania. I'm not going to go into her interests, but she does love fashion, hence the sewing hobby, and she doesn't like work, and I guess that's why she hasn't tried very hard at all. And she hasn't really got to know anyone in the hood, just her family members. She hasn't really bonded with Antonio's old children, but there's definitely no hard feelings there either, and she's just friends with this random townie child for some reason. And for her bio, I just wrote that a loving family and fortune, Carol has just about everything she ever wanted. She is deeply in love with Antonio, and she turned his life around for the better. She has 2 beautiful girls and is confident that she can give them the life they deserve as an older mother. So she is very close to becoming an elder as well. But yeah, it's really nice that they were able to get a family of their own in their later years. It was definitely something she really wanted and pursued. So this is the elder of the 2 new children, Viola, and it looks like she needs some new eyebrows, bless her. Whoops. She is lazy, and her traits are athletic, cat person, and workaholic. She's interested in sports, school, and animals. So her hobby is sports, but it's quite interesting to see how she'll be able to do that, because she is really quite lazy. So I don't know if she'll be able to overcome that, or it'll be more that she's like, she just watches sports, and her love of animals has given her this nice nature themed room, since she likes yellow and green. And it might be that actually as she grows up, her hobby does change to nature, especially if she, you know, gets a better interest for her environment and other things like that. It might be that nature suits her a little bit better, but we'll have to see. But right now she's got the option to pursue sports. We'll have to see if she's up for it. She's a very young child. She's only been a child for a day, so she's not really had chance to meet anybody yet. Just her mom, dad, and she's close with one of her cousins, but that is it. But she's got plenty of time yet, so no worries. And she's grown up well and stuff. She was taught potty by Antonio, to talk from Carol, and to walk from Carol also. And what did I write as a bio? Viola loves sports, but is also really lazy. Can she overcome her challenges to pursue an active hobby, or will she just be a couch potato and watch them on TV? That's all we know about her so far, but like, she has literally just become a child, so there's not a lot to go on, and a lot can change about her. And last but not least, we have little Amelia. Let's see if we can have a look up at us, please, Amelia. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Right, here she is, the little cutie patootie. So she is neat, active, serious, and nice, so quite a complex personality there. And her traits are supernatural fan, athletic, and a cat person, because she is interested in sports, paranormal, travel, animals, and sci-fi. So she can go in a lot of directions here. There's a lot to work with, actually. Her current hobby is science, but that is certainly subject to change. She is very young. She has only been a toddler for 1 day, so not much has happened to her yet. She hasn't learned any of her toddler skills, but they do need to be getting on with them, because, you know, her aspiration is suffering. She's only friends with her mother so far, but I'm sure she will follow on with her relationship with her father, Antonio, shortly. She has met her cousins of a similar age to her at family parties, but it has not gone very well. She does not get on with them very well so far at all, but plenty of time to change that. And her bio reads that Amelia is turning out to be quite the smarty pants, but can her elderly parents teach her and provide her with everything she needs? So this is the house, and here's little Nala. She's quite close to being an elder, so I don't know. I haven't decided whether I'm going to be giving it to Beatrice yet or not. At the moment, I'm leaning towards keeping it here. So a nice basic little entranceway. I've tried to keep all of the houses here very like rustic and Mediterranean. And here is a nice kitchen. I don't really know where the blue came from, to be honest. I think I just like saw these cupboards and rolled with it. But I really like how it ended up. You know, I have family in Italy, so it really does like feel familiar to me. I don't think I've done a bad job at all, like reflecting the kind of Italian look on these houses on this side of the river at all. And of course, being British helps with the other side as well. And here is the dining room in Antonio's red. They have some Easter eggs here because it was Easter on Sunday, but the Easter bunny ended up coming a little bit late for them. So yeah, they've got their Easter eggs ready for Monday morning instead. On the other side, there's this living room, and again, I don't really know where the orange came from. It just kind of did. I must have found. I guess it was probably the floor, actually. This is the same floor he had in his old house, and these are the same sofas he upgraded to in his old house. So that's probably where that came from. And then there's a little bathroom down here and the laundry room back here, through Carol's sewing room. She likes pink and red, so that's done nicely to her tastes. And like Titania, she'll probably take up knitting as well, in her old age. So yeah, and that's pretty cute. And they have a nice little outside area here. A pool, place to hang out, and some stuff for the kids to do. Antonia has a nice car and there's room for another, but not sure if that will happen, what with paying it back debt. And upstairs it's a very large landing, so I made this like little nook that it can view out of and pick up a magazine and have a little read. And here is Antonio's office, very much in his style. He likes to, you know, blog about cuisine and stuff in here and pick up some new skills. And here is a master bedroom, Antonio and Carol's, keeping with the red theme. Some of this design was carried over from the old house as well, but expanded and spruced up a little bit. And a nice bathroom here. I don't really know where they kind of like jungle Salvador Arden kind of theme came in, but I like it. I think it really suits him somehow. So, you know, these themes are from made up places, so maybe it's not just of Italian influence, maybe there are some South American influences in there as well, who knows. And then at the other side, there is a very big nursery for Amelia. She did share this room with Viola before she grew up, but now it's all hers. So there's lots of things for her to do. This is really bugging me. This is supposed to be red, but the recolors don't work. Like, oh, that one does. I think, but then like, I'll accept it, but then like when I reload, it'll not be there anymore. That's what it's supposed to look like, but it keeps resetting to the default colour. So if anyone knows how to fix that, do let me know. I'd really like to sort that out because this is a really nice kids bookshelf. So she has everything she could possibly need to build all her skills and become her own little person. And she can be fed in here and be read to and things. So yeah, she aged up in like a red outfit, so she's gone for like in red as well, I think. And here is Viola's room, and I've mostly shown you that already, the sports and nature theme she's got going on in here. And she has a little bathroom as well, all animal and nature themed as well. So I think it might be nice if she changes to a nature hobby, but we'll just have to see. Then yeah, that's the house. Hope you like it. And it's just across the road from the Monty Ranch and next to the church. So now we are at the really quite new house of Regan Cap, another daughter of Consort. She, like I said, used to live in the house that now Hermia and Puck occupy. But she got some money and slightly upgraded and got some more space. So it's nothing magnificent. It does give them some more space, and they have a nice little outdoor area here. And Regan has a car. So here we are with Regan. Apparently both is right. I tend to say Regan, but I say a bit of both, to be honest. She's still a fortune sim. And her secondary is actually romance. Her lifetime one is to own 5 top level businesses, but she ended up not going down that route at all. I think reaching the top of the business career would have probably been more suitable for her, but I guess that's was based on her original bio, like wanting to make it out on her own. So yeah, she could invest in business, but yeah, that just didn't really work out for her. But no worries. It kind of annoys me when they reach the lifetime goal anyway, because then it becomes less incentive to keep them happy. So Regan is neat, shy, and serious, and her traits are born saleswoman, disciplined, commitment issues, no sense of humour, and a workaholic. She's currently CEO at level 9 of the business career, doing really well. But do you know what? I really think like the gap between level 9 and 10 is like the biggest in the business career. It's like so hard to get that jump. It's a lot of skills in between that are required to get. So she's got it locked in as a 1. So that's enough for me to make her pursue it. But that's a big time demand, to be honest, to learn all of these skills. So I'm not sure if it'll be something she does. She's very close to becoming an elder, so I'm not sure. Maybe she'll want to retire when she ages up, who knows? But I think she'll probably want to keep going. Regan's hobby is fitness, especially yoga and meditation and stretches and things like that. And for some reason, I just linked it up somewhere in my head that she had a really big interest in the Asian culture. I don't know where it came from, but she just does. She's really like into Zen and things like that. So she's like really big on that kind of thing. So she has a lot of Asian inspired decor in her home and has actually recently bought a holiday home in Takamizu Village and has gone there for the first time, hopefully one of many times, because she has not yet learnt Tai Chi, and I think that would be a great thing for her to be able to do. She's interested in politics, crime, food, money, culture, fashion, sports, work, travel, and health, and she hates paranormal, weather, toys, environment, animals, and sci-fi. It's a real shame she hates animals because she is really close to her little kitty cat Curio. But yeah, as you can see, she's super into health, pretty into sports. She's a really hard worker. So that's where, and loves money, so obviously that's where her aspiration comes in and then her hobby comes in. So when I first set this family up and found that both Regan and Cornwall's secondary aspiration calculated to be romance as per Cindy's original secondary aspiration calculator, I thought these two would break up really shortly after. I didn't think they would ever start a family, but they ended up really having a good, strong relationship and staying together for a really long time. And they still are together, but they have recently been through quite the rough patch because at Miranda's graduation party, she saw Cornwall flirting with Roxy Sharp right in front of her, who was like close to becoming an elder at the time. So I guess it was like a little bit of a midlife crisis or late life crisis, I guess. And I guess he thought it was harmless and has like shown he's regretted it, like he's not done anything else since and wanted, to do things with Regan. And I just let it play out. I have an autonomous breakups mod. If she had rolled the 1 to break up with him, then that would have happened, but they didn't. And as that happened, like before I had played with him that round, it was my plan to send them on holiday in celebration of Cornwall and their child's birthday. It was on the same day, so I figured once they had aged up, they could go and have a nice family holiday in celebration of that. And I worried that wasn't even going to happen, or perhaps Cornwall would have left and stayed home, but then he would have had no money to move out with after the big investment that was the holiday home. But it actually really helped them heal their wounds. They really got a lot closer again on this holiday. They aren't yet in love again, but they're really getting there. And actually, just before I was about to do this character presentation, so they had just come back from a vacation this morning, and they were about to have an autonomous casual woohoo. I've interrupted that, but that could have sparked love again. They're obviously, on good enough terms to make them kind of advancements with each other, and they have been very flirty and things on their holiday, so things are looking good for them. But obviously Cornwall aged up, and I did recalculate his aspiration, but it remained the same. So we'll have to see if it happens again, or perhaps we can say that if he's gone through his entire adulthood being faithful, that perhaps he deserves that hopeless romantic trait. I'll have to see about that. So, as you can see from the relationship, it's pretty good at the moment. Their lifetime hasn't quite got up there, and I'm pretty sure they haven't fallen back in love just yet. But she's really close to her children, Valerio and Charles, cat Curio, her sister Goneril and brother Kent, and her niece Tybalt, but no one else really. But she also doesn't have any enemies. She is just not impressed at all with Roxy Sharpe. No idea what happened with this Katerina Wren. That's all. So Regan's original bio said that Regan is determined to make it in business and on her own steam instead of just her parents' money. Can she succeed without alienating her family? And now her new bio reads, Regan certainly did make it on her own in business. She's currently a CEO. Can she make it to the top, or will she want to retire after her birthday? It was never really in her plans to have children, but she has raised two magnificent children who she is very close to and proud of. Her romantic tendencies have also always allowed her to have a healthy, happy relationship with Cornwall until now. While attending her niece's graduation party, she saw Cornwall flirting with a young hottie. Their relationship is on the mend thanks to a relaxing getaway to Takamizu village in celebration of Cornwall and Charles's birthdays, but will it all come crashing back down? So that's where Regan is at the moment. Moving on to Cornwall, he has now become an elder. So his birthday and transition into elderhood was just a few days ago before their holiday. And he is still a primary fortune and secondary romance sim. His lifetime one is to become a business tycoon, and he is extremely close to realizing that dream. It is basically all he can think about, aside from his hobby, which he honestly has barely touched in a really long time. To be honest, it's been all about working and fits family in where he can. He actually joined later and lower than Regan, but has managed to catch up with her, particularly because that 9 to 10 leap is just so far that they do tend to get stuck at level 9 for a really long time. The same happened to Consort, the same has happened to Goneril, so we'll have to see if any of them do make it. Cornwall is neat, active and serious. His traits are proper, flirty, born salesman, commitment issues and workaholic. And like I said, since that commitment issues hasn't had an effect in his entire adult life. I mean, they were already married and he hadn't looked elsewhere apart from a tiny little flirt like right before he became an elder. I really think I might take that off him and either leave it there or perhaps even give him the hopeless romantic trait. These two really did not cause any drama like I expected them to. I thought they would be, cheating on each other left, right and centre, never raising a family or not intentionally. Actually, to be honest, I don't even know if either of the kids were planned. I think they could have just been unplanned anyway. But still. But yeah, they just kind of show me that they are kind of different people. And who knows, maybe when I recalculate Regan's aspiration points, that she isn't even a romance anymore. So we'll have to see. His hobby is film and literature, and he does have really high enthusiasm. But that certainly isn't from writing like he should be. Has he even finished a novel ever? I don't think he's ever finished a novel. So he just really hasn't had the time to focus on it. I wonder if he'll eventually retire and do more of a focus on it, especially now his niece has this store he can take advantage of potentially. He's interested in money, entertainment, work, school and travel, and hates crime, food, paranormal, weather, toys, animals and sci-fi. So these two are animal haters, but I'm pretty sure it was Regan that rolled the one to get the cat, so well, at least they're nice to the cat. So there's not much to say about his memories other than he did enjoy having that little affair, if you can even call it that. He just literally hit on her once and that was it. But it was right in front of Regan, so she lost her as a best friend, and also Hal was a witness to that, and so he was really mad too, and that's why some of his other family members have become very disappointed in him. So he is still on great terms with his wife. I'm not sure if he's in love with her. Yeah, I don't think he ever fell out of love with her. I'm pretty sure he lost a crush and got it back, so I don't even know. He is very close with his children, Valeria and Charles. I guess actually is just okay with the cat, pretty indifferent to the cat, really. He's good friends with his brother-in-law, Albany, and he actually became really good friends with Ken before they moved out. So if you don't know, this is a family bin sim. It's Reagan, Cornwall, and Reagan's brother, Ken. And then, so yeah, he starts with them because he's lost his job and needs to get back on his feet. But yeah, he did eventually move out just before Valeria came along. And in that time that he was there, Kent was really helpful. So they did actually manage to build a friendship. And when Cornwall started out really not liking Kent at all. So he was close to Hal, but obviously that relationship has suffered because of his naughty flirts. He's good friends with Titania Summerdream, pretty good friends with Goneril. I don't know if that has gone down also for the same reason. I'm not sure. And here is the drama stirrer, Roxy. He is actually still enemies with Antonia and Bianca, but they've just not really crossed paths, so it has fizzled. And I wonder if they got talking at a party, if that could be resolved. So Cornwall's original bio said that Cornwall isn't thrilled that his brother-in-law Ken is living with him while he gets back on his feet after losing his job. Can he make room for his wife's family in their home? His new bio says that Cornwall ended up building an excellent friendship with Ken, but he is certainly glad he got on his feet and made room for the wonderful children he and Reagan were able to raise. Cornwall has always felt a huge pressure to impress and fit in with the Cap family, and takes after Consort more than his own children do. He has succeeded in the business career as much as his wife and currently has no plans to retire. He also has more determination to continue the feuding with the Montes more than anyone else, and has a strong hatred towards Bianca and Antonio Monte. However, he seems to be going through a bit of a midlife crisis, as he found himself hitting on a young woman at his niece's graduation party. He thought it was harmless, but Reagan felt differently. He seems to regret his actions, but will he change, or will it happen again and perhaps be even worse next time? Moving on to the eldest, Valeria. I think it's common knowledge that these two make interesting looking children. She was quite the unfortunate looking child, but she has grown into her face a little bit, but does still have very strong features. I think we need to change the colour of your eyebrows, Henny. So yeah, this is Valeria. She is a family sim with a secondary of knowledge currently, but that was used in my old system of kind of, guessing when they're a child what they're growing up like, and then using the original secondary aspiration calculator. So I'm sure when she gets to college and that's recalculated, there's a big chance that both of those could change. But that's what she's gone through teenhood with. My current teenage dream is to graduate 3 children from college. But I think that's probably like what it was by default, and I might not have changed it. I think that's very subject to change. She is an overachiever. She is A+ in school. She's going off to college today, and she is also level 3 of the science career. She's very smart and a very hard worker. She's neat, shy, active, and serious. And her traits are that she is a cat person, athletic, workaholic, genius, and her hobby is science, particularly chess at the moment. However, she does like sci-fi, so she also might turn her attention to stargazing, and she also likes sports, school, toys, travel, and animals. So she's very close to the cat, and maybe she could raise 20 puppies and kittens. That's what I've got down as an idea for her actually in my spreadsheet. But again, she might not even turn out to be a family sim in the end, so we'll have to see. She hates politics, crime, food, money, environment, and culture. She has had a teenage romance with Alex Summerdream, but she has actually been rejected from going steady twice. As Alex is also a secondary romance, so that has made him just autonomously reject that proposal and not take the relationship that seriously. They are heading off to college at the exact same time, so we'll have to see what their new aspirations turn out to be and how their relationship progresses. And if it does, as you can see, she's quite frequently been rolling the wants to go steady and the fears to be rejected. So who knows if it happens again. She absolutely loves her little cat Curio. She's really close to her mother and all right with her dad. I think that relationship suffered due to him cheating actually, and she's pretty close to her brother Charles too. Very in love with Alex Summerdream. She's really good friends with her cousin Thomas, her cousin Ariel, her cousin Desdemona, and Olivia Monte, and she gets on pretty well with her uncles as well. So she's really cross at Roxy, so that must be it. She must have witnessed that as well, and that knocked on her relationship with her dad, but they must have repaired it a little bit on holiday. And she really doesn't get on with Angela and Monte. I guess they've just not been vibing at parties. I wonder if that could be a new lead into the feud. Hopefully not. Valeria's bio is that Valeria is the definition of an overachiever. She's smart and an A+ student, a hard worker, and a science enthusiast. But she fills her head with romance and is smitten by Alex Summerdream, despite him rejecting her proposals to go steady multiple times. Now they are about to head to college together. Will she be a star student there, or will she be too distracted? And this is little Charles. He is neat and shy and serious and grouchy. His traits are loner, genius, no sense of humour, grumpy, and a workaholic. 5 traits for such a young. Wow, he's got more traits than his sister. Whoops, definitely needs to give her some more when she gets to college. At the moment, he's really interested in travel, school, and toys. His current hobby is science, but I think tinkering suits him better. So we'll have to see what kind of activities he can get up to. There, he had just aged up into a child, but then spent 3 days in Takamizu village, but I just aged them up till the end of the round, and that was another 2 days. So yeah, now he has 5 days left of childhood. He actually did not learn all of his toddler skills. There wasn't enough time in the hardworking parents' lives to teach him to walk. He learned to talk from Cornwall and was potty trained by Cornwall as well also. I think, Regan did help with the learning. Just Cornwall, I guess, got the credit for finishing it. Let's see about Valeria actually. Potty trained by Regan, learned to walk by Regan, and learned to talk from Cornwall. So yeah, they have been pretty equal parents there. He has only just become a child and gone on holiday, as I've said, so he hasn't met anyone yet, just his family, who he is very close to, but based on his loner trait and personality, he might have a really hard making friends and might not have much interest to do so actually. So the bio I've written for him says that Charles is quite the perfectionist and focuses on school and learning. He loves his close family but hasn't shown interest so far in building other relationships. Can he overcome his shyness, or will he be a loner? So let me just take you around the inside of the house. It's a very small entranceway. I really maximize the room space on this one. So yeah, routing can be slightly tricky, but it isn't too bad. Back here, there's a laundry room and a bathroom. And here is the living room, and Regan likes red. And as you can see, there's slight, Asian accents going on. And that she likes. And here's a nice black kitchen. Regan also likes black. And I guess Cornwall likes brown. He hasn't really had much of a say, I guess. And here is little Curio. And upstairs here is the large master bedroom, which has a little office space in as well. Very Asian themed, very to Regan's taste, but there's some brown in there as well for Cornwall. There you go, have your brown. A nice brown main family bathroom. And here is Valeria's room. She likes pink and blue, similar to her cousin Julia. She has some unfinished homework here, so I'm surprised she hasn't rather want to do that. Shall we go? We might get her to start it before she heads off to school today, since she is so interested in school and it's her last day before college. So as you can see, she's picking up a little bit of the Asian vibes from her mom, but not too much. Just a touch. And here is little Charles's room. He likes brown like his dad. So honestly, quite a drab room for a child. But hey, if that's what he likes, that's what he can have. So there we have it for Reagan and Cornwall. Just show the family tree. Been forgetting to actually do this, so I might need to overlay some. So now we are at the house of Bianca Monti and her family. As you can see, it's a pretty nice, pretty big house. She lived in a darling tiny house when she was alone, but she has advanced in her career and married fairly rich. So she was able to afford a much bigger place. So here is Bianca. She is not overweight. She is actually pregnant. She is still a family sim, and her secondary aspiration is pleasure. Her current lifetime one is to reach golden anniversary. She has a very balanced personality, like I believe Isabella did, like Romeo does. Nothing really stands out. Her traits are natural cook, avant-garde, hopeless romantic, family-oriented, and flirty. She is currently a sous chef level 7, so she's done pretty well. She, did want to carry on the family kind of passion for cooking, but honestly, she's missed like loads of days from being a mother to 4 kids and another one on the way. It's not really left much room for working. And her hobby actually isn't cooking, it is arts and craft, particularly painting. She's interested in food, culture, and fashion and hates paranormal, weather, and toys. I don't think we're going to get much from her memories, just usual family stuff. So let's take a look at her relationships. She has a brilliant relationship with her husband, Adrian, who is a Veronaville townie. His name is Adrian Lewis. And all of her children, apart from little Adriana here, named after her father, that she hasn't really had the chance to bond with just yet. I'm sure she'll get there. She's still very close with Kent Cap. She's really close with her brother Antonio, her nephew Mercutio, and her niece Beatrice, and that's about it. Benji was actually Patrizio's dog. It was Patrizio that adopted this dog, and before he passed away, he gave him to this family. Well, actually, I think Isabella kept him and she gave him. Bianca's original bio said that finally out of the Monti compound, Bianca is looking for love so she can start a family of her own. So in my mind, Bianca was fresh out of uni when she started, and as you can see, she's very close to the end of her adult life. So, you judge how long has passed. I don't know what to tell you. If Bianca's become from a graduate to almost an elder, raised nearly 5 children, and of course it was a time where she was dating and looking for love before all that, and has raised a teenage daughter, but then like the teens have only just graduated uni. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to match that up. So anyway, Bianca's new bio is that being a hopeless romantic, Bianca soon found love. Adrian is her match made in heaven, and they could not be happier. Whilst Bianca has managed to do quite well in her culinary career thanks to the Monti cooking talents, and she's also somewhat pursued her hobby in painting, she has spent most of her adult life making and raising a big happy family. She's a fantastic mother to all of her children and cannot wait for the next to come along. Unfortunately, Bianca still clashes with the head of the cat family, Goneril, and that nasty nosy Cornwall. However, her friendship with Kent has shown that there are some good eggs amongst the cats and has no intentions of teaching hatred to her children. She will support them whoever they choose to befriend and love. So yeah, unfortunately, she does still have enemy statuses with Cornwall and Goneril, but the relationship has neutralized. So again, those should have really faded away. They would have if not for a mod, but so we'll have to see how they react if they actually get talking. She actually mostly dislikes the newest member of the cat family, Victor. So moving on to her husband, Adrian Monty. He's a family sim with a secondary aspiration of pleasure also, so they have loads in common. His lifetime wish is to have 6 grandchildren. He is very shy, and that's about it, otherwise very balanced. His traits are a kleptomaniac, a helpless romantic, family-oriented, handy, and athletic. He's also a gearhead. He is level 10 of the criminal career and has been since prior to him getting with Bianca. So he has done very well for himself there, and hence a kleptomaniac trait. He got himself involved with some shady business, but like isn't a bad guy at heart. He kind of reminds me of the guy on Ozark, which I've recently started watching. He's still like a family man, but yeah, he's got tangled into some quite sketchy business. His hobby is tinkering, particularly woodworking, and that is mainly because he is interested in toys. He's also interested in crime, so this career is actually a pretty good fit for him. Well, at least he's got to keep tabs on what's going on. Food, so he absolutely loves all the cooking that Bianca does for him and has become quite the cook himself. Entertainment, culture, and travel. But hates politics, school, health, and animals. He will also be due a recalculation when he becomes an elder. Looking at Earth's relationships, it's basically just his like close family and then just the townies he, I guess, like pre-made befriended, like being an inactive townie. He hasn't bonded with the other members of the Monty household really. He just cares about his close family, but he's not made any enemies either. His bio says that Adrian has succeeded in some pretty shady business. He's a criminal mastermind and pockets tend to get lighter when he's around. But he's a sweetheart, really. He is a loving father and just wants to provide the best for his children and beloved wife. He looks forward to retirement so he can get his hands clean and have all the time in the world to focus on the most important thing, family. So that's going to make me look stupid if he turns out not to be a family sim anymore in his elder years. This is their eldest daughter, Olivia. I love how she turned out, and she is actually a lesbian. I'm pretty sure every other sim we've seen so far is straight. Oh no, Titania is bisexual, but obviously hasn't ventured into that at all. There are some other sims with other gender preferences, but yes, Olivia is our first lesbian. So I don't know if she'll be able to find a love her age, but we'll see. She is currently a knowledge sim with the secondary aspiration of popularity, and her teenage dream is to become a city planner. She is shy and nice, and her traits are shy, handy, family-oriented, and loves the heat. Her hobby is also tinkering like her father. She's been messing around on his work table as well as playing around with some remote control toys. So she loves politics, fashion, travel, work, and weather and toys. So a max interest in toys might make toy making good for her. And interestingly enough, she hates nothing. She has enough interest points in every single thing that would make her not react badly to a conversation. So she is super easy to get along with, and that might explain why she has appeared in so many people's relationship panels. Obviously, her being a secondary popularity sim helps too. So let's take a look at her relationships. Loves the dog, loves her mum and dad and her sister Bella. She's okay with Angelo, but they're getting a little bit distant. Maybe they're clashing a little bit now. He's a teen too, who knows? And she's just getting to know her little sister Adriana. She's really close with her cousin Mercutio, and her friends are Luciana Summerdream, Valeria Cap, Thomas Cap, her cousin Beatrice, and she's getting there with Alex Summerdream as well. And it's pretty cool with her uncle Antonio too. She doesn't think very much of her cousin Romeo. She was potty trained by Adrian, learned to walk by Adrian, and learned to talk from Bianca. A lot of these kids had a more hands-on approach from Adrian because Bianca spent a lot of time pregnant and then struggled to really dedicate the time on teaching those skills. And she also taught her sister Bella to talk, which was really sweet. Her bio reads, Olivia feels lucky to have a loving family and wonderful friends, but can she find love in this old-fashioned town? Here we have Angelo Monting. He is serious and nice, and his interests are supernatural fan, workaholic, nurturing, and has no sense of humor. He is a knowledge sim with a secondary aspiration of family currently, and his teenage dream is to become a mad scientist. Oh, Olivia's doing really well in school, A+, and so is Angelo, both in private school and doing really well. Angelo's hobby is science, but he's not really had much of a hands-on approach with it yet. He has only recently become a teen, though, so perhaps now he can stay up a little bit later. He can get into stargazing. He's always had a very spacey themed room though, which is really cute. He's interested in school, paranormal, travel, and sci-fi. I find that like a lot of the same kind of interests tend to be disliked by teens and children and toddlers, and I've recently got a mod that stops that, so I'm rambling far too much. I'm not going to go into what the younger Sims dislike anymore. But yeah, as you can see, he's quite passionate about his schoolwork and also very fascinated by, you know, the paranormal and extraterrestrial. He was born after Patrizio died, but just before Isabella died. He learned to talk from Bianca, potty trained by Bianca, and work from Adrian. He is close to his mum, dad, dog, alright with his sister Olivia, but does not get on very well with his younger siblings. I wonder if they could iron that out, but he gets on really well with his young cousin Viola, which is odd but cute, I guess. And, you know, he's getting there with Romeo and Antonio. His bio says that Angelo's only fascination as a young boy was space, but now he's fresh into teenhood, he's interested in girls too. There's not many Sims his age around here, so will he share his first kiss before college? So yeah, basically there is no pre-made teen girl for him. Well, not pre-made, like controllable Sims, playable Sims. So it would have to be a townie, otherwise he's got quite a wait. But even then, he'd probably just be getting in with a dormie in college anyway. So we'll have to see. I'm really not sure who Angelo can end up with. He was kind of an awkward generation of his own. This is little Bella, named after Isabella. Oh, Olivia, like, obviously there is already an Olivia Monte, but she wasn't intentionally named after her. Olivia was Bianca's dead brother's dead wife. So maybe she just really admired her or something. I just kind of blanked when I named her Olivia. And oh well. But anyway, Bella is sloppy, outgoing, and nice, and her traits are athletic, workaholic, clumsy, and genius. She has only just become a child just a day ago, and that was the weekend, so she hasn't even been to school yet. So she's a C student, but cut her some slack. She hasn't even started yet, okay? Her hobby is sports, but she's not really had much interaction with that yet, and that is because her strongest interest is sports, but she also likes school and sci-fi as well. She learned to potty by Adrian, she learned to talk from her sister Olivia, as we've said, and learned to walk by Adrian. She loves her mom, dad, and big sister, but doesn't really have a relationship with Angelo or her little sister Adriana yet, but she hasn't really had much chance to interact with them either. But she has been getting on quite well with her cousin of the same age, Viola, at parties, which is really nice, so hopefully a nice friendship can blossom there. Her bio says, with another on the way, Bella is the middle child of the family. She's looking forward to meeting her new sibling and has bonded with her big sister Olivia, but not her other siblings so far. Will she get enough attention or will she be overlooked? And then moving on to Adriana. She is shy and not much else. Her traits are an animal lover and a loner because she is shy, and her main interest is animals, but she likes school too. So hope she will grow up to do well in school. And her current hobby is nature, and she's only really bonded with her dad so far, but she's getting there with a big sister and a mom. She hasn't been able to build a relationship with Angelo or Bella, and she has not got on with Amelia when she has met her at her family gatherings. But you know, she has some time But as you can see, her aspiration is really low because they have not got around to teaching her a single toddler skill yet. And they're really preoccupied with working, and Bianca's another pregnancy, so they really need to get on with teaching this girl what she needs. They've done so well with their other kids, so it would really be a shame if they let this one slip. So her little bio says that Adriana is a very independent toddler. She is shy and not much else. She is only bonded with her father so far, despite being part of a big family. With both parents working and another baby on the way, will Adrian and Bianca find enough time to teach her her vital skills? It's looking like Adriana will grow up to live a solitary life surrounded by animals. So let me just show you around the house. Here there are two entrances, one into the kitchen, one into the living room. Really quite rustic, but more like cottagey than like the terracotta kind of look this time. Not really sure where the colours came from. I think Adrian likes red, I guess. Bianca likes black. Kitchen was more just a trying to look Mediterranean and Italian, really. Same for the dining room. I find orange works really well. And a downstairs bathroom here. Then we have a big nursery which has like constantly been in use. That's why it's stayed a neutral yellow. So there's going to be another baby in this other crib really soon. And here's like a little, it's almost like a shed, but it's attached to the house, like a little back garage area where Bianca paints. They have a little study area, and Adrian uses his workbench. They have a nice big patioed garden. And upstairs we have the master bedroom. Not sure where the green came in, but mainly in Bianca's black. A lot of the colours are very neutral actually in this house. A family bathroom, and then along here there is a laundry room and a toilet. I think this was probably before I installed the ironing board mod, so maybe I could put an ironing board in there instead as well. They don't tend to really use this toilet. Here we have the girls' room, which used to just be Olivia's room, but Bella's had to squeeze in. But luckily, they've managed to put their own personality on it. The yellow was mostly for Olivia, and while it was a bit young, she doesn't really mind. And here, Angelo has a room to himself, all space themed up. So yeah, I think Bianca really did what she wanted to do with her life, so I'm really happy for her. So Ken lives in this really nice little apartment complex. It's a hilltop, and you can see the Cat Manor there in the background. I downloaded this lot and spruced it up a bit. So yeah, he lives here, and the other occupants are all Academy Latour pre-mades, so we'll be coming back to them later. But for now, I will jump in to see Ken. So here is Ken, and you might notice he's looking a bit rotund. That's not just him being overweight, although he is overweight. He is actually quite heavily pregnant with an alien baby, which is really exciting. So there'll be a first alien pregnancy in Veronaville. At first I wasn't sure if I even wanted to have any aliens in this because I wasn't sure if it suits it. If anything, it actually suits more of a fantasy, occult type gameplay, but honestly I'm not really into occults, but I thought I'd just try the alien thing. It does suit some of the Sims, and it does add some mystery and something a bit different, so I'm really looking forward to meeting Kent's alien baby. So Kent's still a knowledge sim. He's not reached being an elder yet, so it looks like he's having this baby just in time. He is getting on. So yeah, but when he gets an elder, then like everyone else, his aspiration will be recalculated with my new calculator, and his secondary is pleasure. So Kent current lifetime one is to reach the top of the education career, which he is in. He loves knowledge, and then when he didn't do so well in the science career, I believe it was, so basically at the start of the game, Kent has lost his job. Oh, from the business career. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, so he lost his job and then moved in with his sister Regan to get back on his feet. And that's where you start off playing with him. So then he stayed unemployed for quite some time, and was really helpful around the house. Then he did eventually get his education job, and it suited him really well because he loves to learn and pass on his knowledge. But he isn't very career driven like the other members of the cat family. But he does okay. He just prefers to learn. So Kent is lazy and nice. His traits are a genius, a couch potato, a natural cook, mooch, over-emotional, and a perfectionist. He's interested in food, entertainment, culture, fashion, travel, and sci-fi, and school. But he hates sports, paranormal, health, and weather. His hobby, because of this extremely high sci-fi interest, his hobby is science, specifically stargazing. So that's how he has led to encountering aliens and getting pregnant with an alien baby. But this has actually led to some interesting and tough times in Kent's life because this isn't the first time he has been impregnated. It has happened before, but he actually lost the baby. He wasn't able to take good enough care of himself, and obviously it's hard enough, what with the, male body not really being designed for this. He lost it, and that really upset him. But then he did meet aliens again, and is very close to giving birth. So hopefully this will be a successful pregnancy for him. But actually, onto his love life. He has had a little bit of a rough love life. He started dating Curtis Ryan, a Veronaville townie. It was going really well. He, did his first woohoo with him and fell in love with him. But then eventually he had a really bad date with him because, alright, they weren't anything serious, so that's why he doesn't have a memory of an affair, but Curtis was actually cheating on someone in front of him. So that really soured that, and then he stopped seeing him. He then started dating around. He used the services of the Gypsy Matchmaker to see who else he could meet. So he's been with all kind of service MVCs and other townies, I think social group townies. And he eventually fell out of love with Curtis. So that was kind of dead in the water there. And then he eventually had his first date with Victor, who I think is a Veronaville townie. What's his last name? Lillard? Victor Lillard. So that went really well. They were dating for a while. But he was actually a little bit more reserved than Kent was. So as you can see here, he actually got rejected for a makeout a few times, which was really odd since that came after a woohoo. Yeah, they hadn't seemed to have, I don't really remember this. They seemed to have a bit of a falling out. But then they certainly made back up and fell in love and then started going steady and kept dating for some time. And this is about when he had his first encounter and pregnancy and lost that. He, I think, drifted apart from Cornwall for a little bit. They obviously weren't on good terms when they met, but as you've probably heard from Cornwall's catch up, that they did actually become friends and they did manage to patch that back up again. So they're on great friendship terms. He then got engaged to Victor and he moved in with him, and they had a wedding party. And then at that point, after he was actually ill, which was what happened. He had a lot of stress and a busy time from the wedding, and then actually got pneumonia, and that just made his knees suffer so much that while he was sick with pneumonia, he lost that baby. It was really tragic. He's been doing it all right for himself and has met aliens again. And then it's all the wonderful, proud family things beyond that. So if we take a look at his relationships, he's doing really well with his new husband, Victor, and they have a roommate they're really close to called Crystal Anderson, who was a Academia Latour Dormy. But at the time I didn't realise, and I have a mod that like opens up this selection of roomies you can pick from, and she was in there. So once she became our roommate, we aged her up into an adult and graduated her and all that good stuff. This is all the people that live in the block with him, but we'll get to them. Obviously, he's not really built much of a relationship with his neighbours, but he's great friends with Cornwall now. Amazing friends with Cornwall, better than his sisters. Still really good friends with Bianca Monte. This is an ex-lover of his. This could have actually gone somewhere, but Oliver is actually a hairdresser NPC, and if you check the wiki about safe and unsafe NPCs, nobody really knows about hairdressers, so I thought best just to stay clear because it's not really been researched too much about their completeness and safeness to add them to a household. He is good friends with Reagan and his niece Ariel, brother-in-law Albany, and distant friends with Oberon, but they really could get back in touch, I think. Kent's original bio says that Kent is the black sheep of the cat family, far more enamored of learning than of accumulating wealth or fighting with the Montes. Will he pursue his friendship with Bianca Monte despite his family's misgivings about it? So obviously the first thing to address, obviously you probably can see from his dating history and the fact that he is married to a man. Kent is gay, and he is gay at the start of the game. If you load up a fresh Veronaville and use a mod to check his gender preference, you'll see he has a higher preference for males and I think 0 preference for females. So, I mean, I think it's quite a low preference. That's why he's like really easily swayed after a few romantic interactions with a female. And I think, honestly, if I was playing without townies, then I mean, you basically have to put them together, which would have been nice. But I decided because we have townies that I would keep him gay and pursue that route. So yeah, it was just purely just friendships with Bianca, and he was not interested in it in that way. And she knew that as well. So Kent's new bio says that Kent is still quite the black sheep of the Cap family, far more enamoured of learning than of accumulating wealth or fighting with the Montes. So I thought I'd keep that first line in there, because that is still very true to him. He managed to maintain his friendship with Bianca Monte, and the younger generations have helped this by making so many friendships between the sides. He got himself back on his feet after losing his job and is now working as a teacher, passing on his passion for learning in the high school. Kent did not have a smooth ride looking for love. After thinking he'd found his soulmate and having his heart broken, he became rather picky. After much dating around, he met his true love, Victor. He knew Victor was keen to adopt, but they might not need to. Kent's hobby in stargazing has resulted in some very strange encounters. At first, he did not know what was happening to him until he went through a miscarriage. Kent was devastated by this, but Victor supported him through it. He's since made contact again and is expecting an alien bundle of joy. So that's where Kent is. As you can see, they've got quite a bit in savings here, so I think they will be moving out of this apartment next round to get some more space. They do have a decent space, but I do think it would be nice to eventually, you know, kind of stop losing so much money in rent and get a proper house. So let's move on to Kent's husband, Victor. As you can see, they both have a want to go on vacation. They didn't do that straight after getting married because of Kent's pregnancy at the time, and then he shortly, you know, they were ill, and then there was a pregnancy again, and there's like, they never really have a fun time going on vacation whilst pregnant because their knees suffer so much, so kept it locked in for the future. And I've actually kind of cheated and given Victor another want lock here because I really just want to keep all of these to work on, because, you know, I don't know this guy very well, so you kind of, you know, want to keep those useful goals in place for Kent to meet aliens, to have a baby, and to go on vacation, because they're all things I would like to make happen. So Victor is a family sim, and his secondary is knowledge. So he has quite a bit in common with Kent. His lifetime wish is to reach golden anniversary, so that's really sweet. He's very happy he's found Kent, and even though it's kind of later on in their lives, I did age him up to basically match Kent's age because I don't really get attached to Towny Sims that much, so obviously, and they don't age up, so I was in no mood to have him at like the start of his life. So I just made it so they're of a similar age, so they will be aging up and dying at a similar time, and I'm not stuck with Victor for a long time beyond Kent's death. Victor is currently in the adventurer career at level 5, and he's doing alright, I guess, just kind of cruising. As a family knowledge to him, I don't think he will particularly have massive ambitions for that, but still, it's making decent earnings for him. So Victor's main defining personality trait is that he is shy. There's not much else to him, otherwise he's very balanced. His traits are handy, shy, a natural cook, adventurous, and eco-friendly. His interests are politics, food, work, environment, and fashion, and he hates crime, entertainment, health, paranormal, and animals. Victor's memories are pretty basic. I mean, all about Kent, really. I'm not sure where these fires have been that he's encountered, but Kent's been oblivious to, apparently. I think they have been just on the front and with trees going up with lightning strikes and things like that. Wow, he's not getting on with their roommate at all. So I think Victor feels like they're outgrowing this apartment and are definitely ready to have a place of their own without a roommate and just have room to grow a family. Who knows, they might have more alien offspring and they might choose to adopt in the future. I'm not sure if Kent's baby will fulfill his want of having a baby. If it doesn't, I might just force it, or I might just keep it in there to adopt and then have 2 children of a similar age. Who knows? He's also not made any good relationships with the apartment neighbours. But he's pretty close with Mitch Indy, a academic lecturer pre-made, and then some townies. I don't really care, to be honest. So Victor's little bio that I wrote for him says, Victor loves Kent and can't wait to start a family with him, but will he be able to love Kent's alien offspring as his own? This is their roommate, Crystal Anderson. Just going to show her to you, not going to go through that at all. But yeah, I think we will be saying goodbye to Crystal and moving them into a place of their own. So let's do a tour of the apartment. This is the downstairs, all open plan. All of the apartments have a very similar layout but different colour schemes, slightly different furnishings and things like that. So it's pretty nice. It's got everything they need. Obviously they could easily just kick Crystal out and have a nice kids room here, or like I said, I think they are ready to move into a house. I think they would get some more money back than this as well, because I use the app hack mod that like makes you have to pay a deposit for the furniture, so I think they would get that back. I'm not too sure how it works, but it's pretty basic. They haven't, like, I left them all quite sparse and basic, just with like the furniture in there, and it's up to them to decorate, and they just haven't. It was never like that much of an attachment. It's all very sparse and basic still. So they do have a study as well. If they really needed it, they could probably shuffle things around, but yeah, I really think they've outgrown this place. But the outside communal areas are pretty nice. This is where the encounters have happened. Oh, so I also have this bug where this apartment is like active at the same time as theirs, and I don't know what's causing it. It's really annoying. There's a sofa that doesn't exist because it was placed with move objects on, but when I load into them, it is there. So like these guys are active the whole time, so they're having like their hobby enthusiasms and relationships like affected a lot. So I really don't know how to fix that. If any of you guys know, please do let me know, because is super annoying. I really don't know what's happened there. But other than that, that is it for the Kent cat family, the Cap 4 family. So that's all for today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know your thoughts. Like I did mention at the start of the video, obviously I know these are quite lengthy and there's lots of information. That might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I think because we've started like that, I'm not going to change it up like mid-series. But I think once I do get to round 20 of this HUD, just so you know, I'm actually playing round 16 currently at the time of recording this, so already a lot has progressed and happened since recording this recap. So yeah, I think round 20 will have some exciting new developments, but I think it's going to be a really different style, especially because we don't need to like revisit everyone. I'm not gonna, you know, assume you're gonna remember everything about them from this, but generally I'm thinking maybe record a day of playing each household and then later on just overlay some commentary about what kind of thing they've been getting up to and how the stories have progressed. So let me know what you think of that. Really open to ideas about format and things like that. But also I really want to know your thoughts on this video and this series, the Sims in them. You know, which Sims do you like the look of? What stories are you surprised about? Which builds and houses do you like best? Please let me know your thoughts. I'd really love to hear from you and discuss. And then next time we will be on the final episode of this series, the fourth and final one, where we will be catching up with the Sims who are currently in university and also the Académie Latour pre-mades. Oh, by the way, if you're interested in the aging system that I have been using in this HUD, it's now actually available to download on my Tumblr. So check it out, I'll put the link in the description if you are interested in that. So I'm really hoping to get this series wrapped up by the end of 2022. That gives me like a month to get the last video out, and then we'll be able to go back to some opening ballet and probably some tutorials and mod showcases. And then, like I said, I'm thinking once I get to round 20, we can do another catch up, but probably in a very different style. So please let me know what you think of those thoughts. Really love to hear from you. To discuss and have a chat, please join my Discord. The link's in the description. Really open to having a chat and answering any questions you might have. But other than that, that's all for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you did. And if you'd like to support my channel even further and help me grow, I do now have access to the YouTube Super Thanks feature, or alternative methods could be perhaps buying me a coffee or even becoming a Patreon. Any support would be greatly appreciated. But anyway, as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.